They apparently, people on Reddit are saying that I lack emotional intelligence, or I'm not a leader because I don't take the blame for when Vasil ships or not. Yet at the same time, we say it's decentralized ecosystem. And I keep shouting to people that think before you talk. Again, 135.3 and 135, the testnet, all these things. There's some narrative that's floating around, and I just want to be super clear, because it's a very unfair narrative that's floating around right now, and it's incredibly corrosive and damaging, and it's got to stop. Let's be clear about process here. How it's always worked with these hard forks from Shelley on has been that a testnet is spun up, or some form of testing surface, an extensive amount of testing is done. There's an ongoing dialogue between the stake pool operators, exchanges, and now dApp developers, and people from the Cardano Foundation, and people from Emergo, and people from Input Output. There are people whose day job it is to engage in that ongoing dialogue. That dialogue has been going on for years now. 135, we believed on our side, was going to be the node that we could hard fork from as a final series of tests. As we've always done, the testnet was hard forked, it existed, people started integrating with it, and then it was discovered that there was a critical issue in that node, the elliptic curve implementation. And that broke the testnet. Now, we had to fix it. And there was a series of back and forths and discussions and additional testings and layers of work that was done, which resulted in the cutting of 135.1 and 135.2. It was discovered that there were still some lingering issues, which resulted in 135.3, which then was extensively tested. And we got to a point where we felt very comfortable and confident in it, which led to a series of communications that occurred, I believe, last week about 135.3. Some SBOs expressed concerns. So we had a call with them. Many came together. There was an ongoing dialogue, and they said, well, we would like additional test infrastructure, of which Sam Leathers and other people were there and were very accommodating and said, yeah, okay. If that's what you want to upgrade, we will accommodate. So we started the process for that. Then some SBOs decided to go and make podcasts with incredibly incendiary titles about how catastrophic bugs are preventing Cardano from updating. And predictably so, the dishonest crypto media is now running articles, the most recent of which is from Crypto Briefing. There's a broader point about where to communicate and process. It's clear from the enormous amount of effort that we put in and you put in as a community that we're in an active dialogue and that people matter, especially given that the upgrade decision is made by the SBOs, not us. If you choose, and it's your choice, to use Reddit, Twitter, Telegram, or other channels for that debate and dialogue, nothing meaningful will be accomplished. No real technology will be developed. No real conclusions will be drawn. You'll just incite a flash mob, wild speculation and opinions, and ultimately sensational comments, which will be used to harm the integrity of the project, will be used to harm the perception of the project. From today, what a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space who aren't in the Cardano sphere are going to take away from this isn't that there are checks and balances and that Cardano is actually really decentralized and that one group of people can hold another group of people accountable, which is all true. They're going to take away the headline, catastrophic bug, Cardano. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Because this is the level of discourse in our industry and the level of maturity in our industry, just how they operate, how they think. And if that's your end, if that's what you want to accomplish, well, mission accomplished. it's always a shitty situation when a testnet doesn't work out the way that you think, and that so late in the pipeline, a bug can slip through. And it calls into question all of the lists of things that need to be done. So will there be a postmortem? Of course. Will there be an extensive discussion and an analysis of this? There's already a workshop planned for it in September for just this thing. We are aware of it. And, I wish we had a backseas on that particular event and this particular issue. But let's be clear about something. There's still the use of formal methods. There's still the use of extensive Q&A. There's still developers working 24/7 right now to make sure things are where they need to go. And the vast majority of the code we're talking about, the vast majority of it has been extensively tested in many different operating scenarios. It's just a fact. You can't escape that fact. A lot of people have, because we've been in this game for a long time, a lot of capability to test things. And guess what? Nothing's changing. You can't just ask for, we need more testing. You have to say, what do you want to test? What tests do you want to write? What scenarios do you want to run? What environments do you want to deploy into? And you can't conflate a failed testnet with the mainnet, because testnets are constructed and destroyed all the time in this industry. That's their point. They're used to play around with things and break things. Ethereum's had dozens of issues with prior testnets and shadow nets and so forth. And you read about them in the crypto media. They're not big events. And they in no way, in any way, harm Cardano itself. No funds have been lost. No keys have been hacked. No nodes have collapsed. Right now, today, transactions are being processed on Cardano just like they were the day before and the day before that. That's just a fact. Unfortunately, the headlines are now catastrophic bug Cardano. And that's what's going to stick in consumers' minds. But it's going to stick in the mind that Vasil's not going to ship, which means less people will migrate to the project, less commercial interest in the project, and ultimately less adoption for Cardano. Those are the real life consequences of using Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, or other channels, YouTube shows, to discuss issues that frankly should be discussed with process, in direct engagement with each other. There is a point for dialogue. That's why the SIT process exists. That's why the testing frameworks exist. Can they be improved? Of course. There's every desire to create this, because you, the community, are a resource. You're not an adversary. You're not a downstream customer. You produce Cardano as much as we do, or anyone else does. And what we've proven today is Cardano is actually decentralized. That's great. That makes me happy. It should make you happy. But at the end of the rainbow, we do have to take a step back and understand there needs to be a basic decorum here and some basic respect here. And it's so counterproductive and destructive. It's very easy for me to just stand on the sidelines and just not get involved at all. But I care about this project. I care about its perception, and I care about us getting a fair shake and having a bit of an experience dealing with the crypto media that has a long history with Cardano for some reason of being dishonest about it. The point of decentralization is that you have to admit that sometimes things are a little slower, and you have to create structures to allow people to be heard. That's the point of Catalyst, which helps set priorities and get funding behind those priorities. That's the point of saying things like these SBOs have to upgrade, because it creates thousands of actors who are now involved in the discussion of when and how to do a hard fork event. The point of testnets is for these things to run. Obviously, that system needs to be updated and revamped, and there needs to be improvements to it. This is the discussion that's ongoing right now that you're a part of. And we do try on a regular basis to reach out and talk to people and engage with people, in some cases daily. In some cases, special groups are created just to have those ongoing conversations. You know, if I had all the time in the world, I'd love to spend a whole year, 2 years cleaning and polishing Cardano. I'd love to just do nothing but write code and develop and say, all right, we'll come back to it later. but it's not my call. It's not my choice. This is a diverse ecosystem, and it is a product that is used by millions of people. It's listed on over 200 exchanges. There's over 1,000 projects under construction at this very moment, deploying or have already deployed on Cardano. There are over 5 million NFTs issued on Cardano. This is a big ecosystem. And there's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of divergent interests. A lot of people say move quickly. A lot of people say slow down. A lot of people say we'd like this feature. A lot of people say we'd like that feature. It's not productive to go and just ignore all those channels and go to YouTube and into Reddit and to Twitter. Because again, you will not achieve anything. It's not going to change the process. It's not going to change the discussion, the debate, and the dialogue. All it's going to do is create a situation where catastrophic bug Cardano is the end result. And that's what we got to. I'm not happy about it. It's insulting to all the people who worked so hard to get us where we're at. And it's just a mess to clean up now. And of course, we'll engage with the media and try to get rid of this FUD, Cardano catastrophic bug. And it's just another day in the office. Hopefully, we should have all of those SIPs done by the end of September for your review. It'll go through the normal SIP process. The SIP reviewers will take a look at it, but it'll be a collection of different things about how to ask for an update proposal for the community to vote on it, and then for a bicameral model where the SBOs have to formally announce it. So there's some stake weighting behind it. And then moving beyond that, we can get to a new process, a new system, and a new roadmap, and ultimately a new governing body, members-based organization that's interconnected with community voting, where things can be done in a much more structured way now that there are millions of people to harness from. This is the path and the direction that everything has been moving forward to. I love Cardano. I love this community, and I really do enjoy the time I've spent here and the things I've done, and I really do enjoy building things, and I really do enjoy sitting down trying to solve hard problems, of which there are many. I really do. Nothing that can ever be said or done is ever good enough. And he received enormous amounts of criticism, in many cases for things that I'm not even responsible for. They apparently, people on Reddit are saying that I lack emotional intelligence, or I'm not a leader because I don't take the blame for when Vasil ships or not. Yet at the same time, we say it's decentralized ecosystem, and I keep shouting to people that think before you talk,